Welcome to another episode of Trade Truths Podcast. Today I have a special guest, a Tampa native. Hey man, one thing I will say, this young man, he walked up to me, introduced himself, and from there I instantly knew that the conversations that we're gonna have would be genuine. I know he has a story, I know he has a testimony, so without further more introduction, I'm gonna go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Well, appreciate you for having me, Trey. My name's Christian Lawrence. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at underscore CHR11S. That's my main page. My haircuts page is, see the chain, you know what I'm saying? I'm a barber, but it's Christian Lawrence Cuts. And my art page is Christian Lawrence AW. So thank you for having me, bro.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. So I start off every episode just asking all my guests, how are you doing mentally?
That's a great question, bro. So today, man, I woke up, throwing up and everything, and I just had to look at myself in the mirror, bro, and I was like, sometimes this is bigger than, my feelings. I had to not lean on my heart, but listen to my head, because in my heart I was like, man, I don't want to do this and I'm not feeling too good. But then in my head I'm like, I may never get this opportunity ever again, and I don't want
Sure.
to put you and I's relationship in a bad setting, because it's like, man, the first time I invited him out somewhere, he folded on me. So
Mhm.
that's how I was feeling today. Overall, I am about to be a dad in 3 months. So
Congratulations, bro.
thank you, bro. I'm a little nervous, but the biggest thing is that, like I said, it's more than me. So now in this life, I'm doing it for my family and for my son. So
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Yeah.
yeah,
Once again, congratulations. It's
thank you, bro,
always, I think that's one of the biggest rewards is bringing another blessing into your life. You know what I
for
mean? And
sure.
that right there is the biggest blessing of all. You know what I mean? Continuing the bloodline and everything of that nature. And to add on, I do appreciate you for showing up.
Yeah,
Um, I say this just honestly, health comes before anything
yeah,
in all aspects. So regardless if you had to cancel or not, health comes first.
yeah,
And I prioritize my health over anything at all because God forbid I put myself or you put yourself at risk for something else that can be rescheduled or something else that's temporary or something else that can happen again later on. Like
yeah,
based off the first interaction, if you would have had to cancel, we'd have been good from there.
yeah,
But so just to clear that up, I
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
appreciate you. That says a lot about your character just off that alone. You know what I mean? Because most people will cancel for less. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, oh, I don't feel like it. Nothing's wrong with them. They just don't feel like showing up. And that, what you just said, that speaks a lot of volume. So I
Appreciate
want
that.
to, just get a little introduction out of you because this is our first conversation just in general. We had a little 1-2 at the streetwear event, but we never really got to, have that one-on-one talk. So just tell me a little bit about yourself, tell the audience about yourself, where you from and,
Okay,
how you got to where you are right now.
got you. So I was born and raised here in Tampa, Florida. 2001, baby. You know what I'm saying? A couple months right before 9/11 happened. So, yeah, just born and raised here in Tampa, Florida. Grew up here all my life. A lot of family and friends are still here with me today. I went to 7 different schools growing up, man. So that was a little tough for me because I always had to make new friends and everything. But, the situation that I was in, I had 8 other brothers and sisters, and I grew up in a blended family. So
Mhm.
that's how life was at the beginning. It was a little rough, but I had to do what I had to do. But after high school, I went to college at Florida A&M University. Shout out to FAMU, go Rattlers. You know what I'm saying? For all my HBCU people out there. Yeah, I got my 4-year, you know, undergrad degree in broadcast journalism. So I graduated in 2023. And while I was in college, I actually started cutting hair because my whole life I had played basketball, and once I realized that my basketball dreams weren't gonna make it too far, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to the league, respectfully. I'm only 6 foot guard, but stuff happens. But I had to change my mindset and put my talent somewhere else. And thank God he led me to picking up the Clippers, and I started cutting hair while I was in college. My name was really big up there, and I started working for myself. And now back in Tampa, I actually have my own dealer or my own studio inside of an exotic car dealership here in Tampa. So that's a little bit of background story about myself.
For sure. And just to touch on something that you just mentioned, two things. One, I'm gonna try to combine them together. Knowing that, like you said, it was a little bit tough with your upbringing, having a lot of siblings and things of that nature. knowing that happened and knowing that your hoop dreams in a sense didn't happen, did you feel like you kind of in a sense, I don't want to use the word fail because I feel like we never truly fail in life, but did you kind of feel like you kind of like let either yourself down or the family down? Because I know with myself, my family isn't that as big, but growing up, all my aunties, uncles, my mom, my grandmas, we all lived in the same house.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Not enough rooms for everybody, not enough space for everybody, but we still lived in a house. And when I did make it to college and I graduated and I chose a career I wanted to, I'm like, this career can't take care of everybody.
that's
This
facts.
decision can't take care of everybody. What I love can't take care of everybody. But I had to realize that I got to take care of me
Hmm.
before I take care of anybody else. So knowing that your dreams of, going pro or dreams of just continuing sports and happen, how did you feel after that?
So my whole life, like I said, I played sports, and as
Mhm,
most black kids do, their role models are athletes, rappers, or drug dealers. But my biggest role models were basketball players, and I don't necessarily feel like I let my family down. I feel like I almost reinvented myself because my whole life my whole identity was known as a basketball player. And
exactly.
then I had to shift my mindset to be like, wait, like, I'm more than an athlete. I'm more than just the sports, because God forbid I break my leg or my ankle and I can't stop playing basketball. What am I
Mhm,
going to be known for?
exactly.
Yeah, so I just relied on my creative direction and my mental strength to do something that I love every day. And to your point, I feel like what I do can take care of the family, can take care of all my peoples because not only am I a barber, I'm also thinking of coming out with a hair care line, doing courses online, owning
Mhm.
different barber shops, and just many different other things under the umbrella. So that's just the start of where I'll be headed. So
For sure, and I
yeah,
think that's powerful that you can see beyond the normal vision, and that's basically like what people, even just like how you mentioned being you're more than an athlete, because what people don't truly understand is the person that's behind the jersey, the person that's behind the equipment and the pads, the person that's behind the game,
yeah.
necessarily. But a lot of people will even think now they don't understand the person behind the clippers. They just think you somebody that cuts people hair when they need it. Now you're
Mm,
thinking about a deeper vision, about expanding more barbershops for not only other barbers, but other people that may need it locally. You know what I mean? And then doing hair care or hair products that can help people that may not can afford it or that may don't know where to look at. So that's definitely a powerful thing. And I honestly I did a little research. I had seen on your page that you was doing free haircuts when you was on campus.
yeah, bro.
So
Damn,
like even
that's
even
cool. You
that, like
saw that.
it's all leading back into you caring for other people. So how would you say that your heart plays a role in what you do?
So crazy thing is, you know, before my grandmother passed, God rest her soul, she told me that I was gonna be something special and that I was gonna help many people out in this world. And I never knew that. I was only 14 when she passed, but like I said, after I stopped playing basketball and I shifted my mind to do something more creative, that's when I realized, like, dang, not only do people come to me just to get a haircut, they come to me because they fuck with me as a person, who I
Mhm.
am. And I think that's also why God blessed me with the son, who'll be here in 3 months. Like he blessed me with the son because he sees how I carry myself as a man. It's not always about money and all the other flashy things in life. At the end of the day, people are gonna rock with you because of who you are as a person. So
Exactly.
to answer your question, why I was giving out free haircuts is because I know a lot of people are in college, they don't have a job because they have to study and everything. And especially people from our backgrounds, ethnic communities, African Americans, Afro Caribbeans, and Latinos and Latinas, it's like we don't have much coming up. So, if Jesus washed people's feet, the least I could do is cut somebody's hair.
And
So,
I think that's a great reference. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people look to get things in return versus just doing.
right.
And I think the most important thing is just knowing that no good deed goes like unviewed or you know what I mean without recognition. Like sometimes it may require you to wait a little bit longer, but at the same time, I always try to do what's best for other people, especially like things like this. Like people think, oh, he just gets up here and talk, but some people maybe hundreds, maybe one person is getting impacted per episode. And that's what keeps
Exactly.
me consistently going, especially with just bringing other people on because I can say one thing, but somebody else may say it another way that
Right.
relates to other people.
Right.
So my next question is for you, knowing that you're now a barber in your city, how has that impacted you as a like, as an individual, as a person, knowing that
Mm.
you're in the environment that you were raised in, knowing that you're in a sense expanding the people that you knew. Basically what I'm trying to ask is, how is it being home and thriving in your field?
Mm.
Because I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
people adventure out and thrive, but
Yeah.
no one really stays home
Yeah.
and thrive. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So to answer your question, that just goes back to you referencing me as a person and
Mhm,
how I stand on my morals and how I respect everybody. Because you know, if I didn't get a lot of respect from other people, I couldn't thrive here. So it's like I've always been the same. From day one, I've always been a solid dude. I always told people what the truth was,
mhm,
and most of the time, I get that same respect from people who are speaking back to me. So I just always stay true to myself. And when you stay true to yourself and you're having those conversations with other people, they will stay true to themselves as well.
mhm,
So it's almost like it challenges you to always keep it 100. You can't take no shortcuts because in a sense everybody's eye is on me,
mhm,
and especially being that I'm from this city. Everybody's eye has always been on me, so it just challenges me to go harder every day
mhm,
and to keep thriving and to bring back to the city because Tampa's a growing city, so I want to be a part of it, especially since I'm from here. I want to be
mhm,
one of those people that like, man, Christian Lawrence did a lot for the city. He opened up barbershops, he opened up foundations, he
mhm.
he did fundraising events and different stuff like that. So
For sure, and that's a much respect, and it takes a lot for somebody to be home because of that eyes on you. Like most people, like I said, would rather go somewhere else because they don't know anybody and it's a fresh start for them. So nobody knows their past, nobody knows who they are, their personal business. They like to start new, but instead of starting new, you just continue. You just
yeah,
reinvented your mindset, which is
exactly.
which is tying into my next question. I seen that and earlier you mentioned a reference about God as well too, but I seen on your page you got baptized a few
Yeah,
years ago, right?
yeah.
So how would you say your journey with God has been? Because you spoke about losing your grandma, and I know things of that nature, especially at an early age. Sometimes it could be confusing, and sometimes we go through different seasons in our life and different chapters in our life where we're like, this isn't making sense right now, especially like,
Mhm.
because I wanted to be an athlete too and that nature, but I just understood that it wasn't realistic for me. Like I'm
Yeah,
5'11. I can't be a 5'11 guard in the league. I just
yeah,
caught that early on. But different things happen in our life and different seasons happen in our life. And sometimes we like, this shit not making sense or this is not adding up.
yeah.
So when you transitioned and you got baptized, how was that feeling or how was it leading up into that moment?
It's a great question, bro. So I've always had a relationship with God, and my relationship it's been like a little rocky at times, but I know from the jump, bro, that God has always protected me.
Mhm,
And I'll give you a quick backstory on how I got my name. So I was supposed to be named after my dad and my granddad, and their name is Ronald, but everybody calls him Ron. So I was supposed to be the third, and when my mom was 6 months pregnant, bro, she had a infection in her appendix, and the doctor said, either you or your baby's not gonna make it, ma'am. And that night, she prayed to God. She said, Father, if you save my child's life, I promise I'll dedicate his life to you. And he ended up saving us both. And that's why she named me Christian, which means follower of Christ.
mhm,
So God has always had my back. And it's always just been up to me whether I want to follow him or not. And to be completely honest, man, like I said, it's sometimes it can be a rocky relationship, but I always know that I could call on him whenever I need. I talk to him almost every day, but I do want to get closer to him, and especially that I'm about to have my son and with
mhm.
my girlfriend, I want to unite my family, and bring them up the right way, under God. So
That's what's up, and that's I mean that's true to it, and thank God that you and your mom, what I
yeah,
mean, made it through that situation because it's especially in a tough time like that with that. I think one of the things that I heard recently is that a lot of people don't have faith when the doctors give them one option.
Dang.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think it's and that
Yeah.
recently spoke to me because this morning I seen that Chris
Oh,
Johnson,
ALS.
yeah,
I seen that
and
too.
knowing that, you know, that somebody that he's from Orlando, he Orlando native, and knowing that
Oh,
somebody
wow.
that us as youth we used to look up to, he can go through that in silence, and like you just never know. But when people see stuff like that, they instantly write him off. And he even said to himself, like, "I'm the same person. I'm me.
Yeah, he
It's
said
just my body is
he's
exactly."
still mentally sharp. He said, "Hey, like he," I caught because Strahan was asking him a question. He was
Hmm.
like, "Well, how do you feel that about this?" And he was saying how he's happy that he's able to bring awareness to this. And he was like, "I'm still me," you know. And he even offered for the doctors to do extra research and extra tests on him.
Exactly.
So that speaks to how tough he is and how good of a person he is as a man. You know.
Exactly. And that's why I say, like, you know, what I mean, mention that reference on how you got your name. These doctors and other people give us these limitations on what we can do, but sometimes we can go beyond that if we actually try and put faith in it and give it to God to answer to.
Yeah.
So that's definitely powerful. But I definitely want to tap into now the journey of you entering the barbershop world and just being a barber yourself and being an entrepreneur. I know that being a barber can have its issues or have its challenges just like anything else in life. So what are a few things that you endured, you know, challenges wise that you may didn't expect or you may weren't looking forward to?
That's a great question, bro. Some of the challenges that I faced were working in different barbershops and just being different from everybody else because I was always the youngest person in whatever shop I was working at. But I was always the person who was recording content. I was always the person who was using the hot towel. I had the gloves, the
Mhm.
ring light. I was able to use enhancements. I was able to do everything. And a lot of OGs, they're so stuck in their ways. They weren't used to that. So I had to stay strong on what I believed in, and I believed in myself that this was going to carry me somewhere bigger than where I'm at right now.
Mhm.
And now I have my own studio, bro. So, and it's only been like 4 years, bro. So this is this is going on my second year cutting full time, but 4 years cutting hair in total.
And how is that feeling knowing that you're able to cut full time? Like I think, you know, doing full time anything that's not working for somebody else and you being your own boss is like one of the toughest decisions to make because it's always that what if in the back of your head. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So how was that transition going into full time? Were you nervous or were you very confident in your talents?
So it's going to sound a little cocky, bro, but I'm never nervous about anything in life. Because I remember I had a Sunday school teacher tell me this. His name was Minister Sylvain, but he said in like a classic black uncle voice, he was like, "Hey boy, let me tell you something." I was like, "What up?" He's like, "Man, don't ever be scared of nothing." And I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Because when you're scared, that creates fear in your mind.
Hmm.
And fear is not even real. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real."
Hmm.
So the minute I heard that, I was like, all right, I'm cool, man. So I knew that fear wasn't real. It's just things that your brain tells you. So then when I do things, bro, I don't even think it just happens naturally. I trust God that He's gonna lead me into the right direction, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was never scared. I had the confidence in myself because I knew the work that I put in and how much I believed in myself
Hmm.
that it could be possible. So yeah,
For sure. And I think it's like you said, it's always a mental thing, right? And I think what a lot of people is they have the idea of failure or the idea of what if in the front of their head instead of putting it in the back of their head. I tell people, especially when they come on here, I have a fuck it button. Sometimes I just make decisions based off of pure intuition. Like I know my body, I know what I can do in every single scenery. And I just be realistic with myself. Like sometimes it's just like I want to do this so bad and I know I'm good at what I'm doing and I know it's going to work. It may not work in the way I want it to, but it's going to work in a way where I may have another vision from that single action. So
mm,
I use my fucking button. I talk about it a lot on here. I have a whole episode dedicated to it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And just knowing that if I'm dedicated to something, if my heart tells me to do it, if my mind tells me to do it, I'm going to do it because I'd rather do it versus me in the future saying, damn, what if I would have did that? Or I could have did that and live with
that's a
that
great
whole,
analogy.
you know what I mean? And live with that whole mindset
It's
going
one of
on in
those
life.
yeah, it's one of those things. you don't ever want to live with regrets. I can't be on my deathbed, God forbid, and be like, dang man, I never got to do this. You know,
Mhm.
I try my best to whatever is on my mind or whatever is on my bucket list. I try my best to do it, and that's how you gotta live life. Like you said, fuck it, bro. Like, what if it does happen?
Exactly, and
You know,
even if it doesn't, you still learn something from it, or you can learn
exactly.
another way to go around it. But
So, don't mean to cut you off,
no,
bro,
you
but I
good. Go
got
ahead.
I got two analogies for that. So, whenever you say like what if it doesn't happen or you take a loss? Well, the first thing I gotta say to that is whenever you hear no, right? That's like, that's such a harsh word.
Mhm.
But to me, no means next opportunity.
Absolutely. That's damn. I never heard
Yeah.
of that. That's deep.
Yeah. No means next opportunity, bro. So it's like, all right, well, shoot, this didn't happen. Well, what's next? I'm gonna get
Mhm.
another opportunity. And maybe that opportunity that you wish for first wasn't you weren't ordained to be in that spot, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's the next opportunity. And everybody knows this one. A loss is a lesson learned. It's a L, it's a lesson learned. But hey, that's okay. You learned.
For sure. That know you that. I ain't never heard that before. I
Yeah,
ain't gonna lie.
next
That's
opportunity,
tough.
bro.
That's tough. And I mean, like, and I tell people the worst thing that somebody can tell you is no.
Yeah,
Like, and all you need is one yes.
yeah,
A one yes can change your entire life. So that was gonna be my next question. How is it getting people to trust you in your work? You know what I mean? Because we both are in a kind of field where we have to naturally engage with people, but they also have to trust us in order to experience our services. So when you first started out, how was it like getting people to come to you? Because most people have that, either family barber or barber they've been going to for years. Like I've been
yeah,
going to my barber for since I moved here, 2019, and I
yeah,
have not had another barber since. So
exactly.
when dealing with other people like that, how is that getting them into your business or into your establishment?
So for people to trust me starting off, what I would always do is I still do this to this day. I post every single haircut that I do. And I need people to see that, hey, I'm able to cut different hair textures, different hairstyles, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I started off with my brothers. Granted, I used to be fucking them up, but hey, like that's what it took.
Yeah.
And now they get free haircuts, to the day I'm off this earth. And hopefully, if my son starts cutting hair, he'll continue the same, tradition and same
Mhm.
pattern. But it also is my results. So I have over 335-star reviews, with my haircuts. And these are genuine, authentic reviews. And then you go on any of my social media pages, you'll see my work speaks for itself. And if you ask anybody on the street, they could be like, oh man, where'd you get your haircut from? And they're like, oh yeah, man, it's this guy named Christian Lawrence. So the word of mouth is also a big factor too. So it's just the results. I know personally it's almost like sports, bro. It's the repetition, the muscle memory,
Mhm.
you know, the the results and me practicing so much that I have the confidence in myself. Cause you can feel when somebody has confidence or not when they
Exactly.
cut your hair. And then just the word of mouth, bro. So
Mhm. For sure. And he's not lying. I ain't gonna lie. I went to your page today and I was like, let me just look, see if like you have any announcements coming up and you know what I mean, just to before we start recording to ask you to mention that throughout the podcast. But I'm like, damn, his haircut page got 1,000 pictures.
yeah,
So y'all, when he say he posting his clients, he's posting his clients, and the work
yeah.
will speak for itself. And from what I've seen, it looks amazing. You know what I mean?
Thank you, bro.
Especially how you have it set up. Like you have a shop, and then within your shop, it's a nice scenery. So it's like they're coming for an experience, not a
Exactly.
haircut. Like you're
Yeah,
getting a bundle of everything in one stop, and it's gonna make you want to continue to come back every single time. So you're
yeah.
getting the results that you wanted, but you also getting the experience on the other hand as well too. So that's definitely dope, and I salute you to your business and everything you got going on, bro.
Thank you,
So
bro.
that's powerful. But I do want to ask you this: knowing that you are in a successful space and knowing that you are successful, how is it not being able to reach everybody that you can potentially can? Because I know you have limitations, especially with you about to be a dad. Other obligations are going to be in the front of everything. So
Mhm.
knowing that you can't be in the shop 24 hours, knowing that you can't cut somebody at this certain hour, knowing that sometimes your deadline for the day is not aligning with somebody else's deadline. How is
Yeah.
that feeling like knowing that, all right, damn, I missed out on this?
So the thing is, I struggled with this a lot early in my barbering career. I was like, oh man, I got to be there for every single client every time, no matter what. what time of the day, no matter what time of the hours. But I also had to understand that, being a barber, some people don't actually see me as a person. They just see me as a person who provides this service.
Mhm.
So I had to set clear boundaries. And the people that I deal with right now, I have the same hours, 10 to 6. So it's still, you know, a regular 8-hour day. It's just choosing who I want to serve and, who wants to get a haircut by me in a sense. So it's like, that's the beauty of me working by myself because I can set my own hours. And with me being a father, I'll probably take off an extra day because I work 6 days a week. Just trying to do as much as I can before it gets here to prepare financially and to also for my barbers that I'm looking for because I'm looking for 3 new barbers to join me that I'm opening up to the other side of my studio. But they also need to see the hard work and the dedication that I put into it. But that's not really a thing that goes on in the back of my mind with who I won't be able to serve because my clients know, that I provide the best service for them, Obviously it might not be the time that they want it or that I want it, but whenever you get your haircut, bro, you're gonna get a nice experience. You're gonna feel important. You're gonna have that one-on-one time, and you're gonna want to come back. So
For sure, and knowing that, because I think I have like a lot of I don't know too many barbers other than mine and then one
yeah,
back home, but knowing that it's kind of like the same thing with this. The question I'm asking, same thing with this. When you're in that one-on-one setting with somebody, it's like a therapy session as well too. So
exactly, bro.
how is that knowing that people not only trust you with that, but knowing that you can't take on whatever weight that they are providing or speaking to you,
Yeah,
because sometimes people will come to me, even not in the setting, but outside of the setting, and like, hey, I need to talk to you. And
yeah.
sometimes I'm like, I'm obligated to
You're like,
listen,
ah,
but it's like at the same time, it's like I can't take that energy from you. You know what I mean? And people are trusting us because of what we do and the representation that we show for ourselves. But knowing that you can't really take on that weight, how is that feeling?
shoot. It's another thing that I had to learn over the years, bro. Is just I mean, I had to learn how to balance somebody else's feelings with my own feelings and try to come to an agreement within myself and my head to be like, hey, this is the best way that I think that they should go about it. And then we talk about it and then we kind of come to a solution
Mhm.
in a sense like that. But I understand that I serve as more than just a barber to most people. So I just try my best to feed them all the knowledge that I have while also not burning myself out because if I do that and I pour all my energy into them, then I won't be able to pour my energy back into myself or
Mhm.
my girlfriend or my family. So it's definitely you just have to learn your healthy boundaries, you know what I'm saying? So
It's a
that's
balance.
yeah,
For sure, and
balance for real.
I'm glad that you definitely you understand that, because I think that's very important, especially in fields where you cater to people. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Because like you mentioned before, some people don't see us as people; they
yeah.
just see us as a service that we provide.
Service provider.
Exactly,
Just like a doctor, you know?
exactly. You know what I mean? And sometimes it could be hurtful, but at the same time, it's just realizing that you're so good at what you're doing that people only see you for that. They don't understand who you are as a person, because even sometimes when we're in our lines of work, we don't really have that option or choice to show personality every single time. Sometimes we're just stuck in that mode and we're grinding and we're
Right,
doing the natural things each and every time somebody visits us, but they don't know, like, hey, I like to laugh. Hey, I like to go have fun. Hey, I like to eat. I like to do this, because you can't show all that in one
right,
stop.
right,
You know
right.
what I mean? So my next question is, coming up when you were younger and getting ready to transition into college, what do you feel like is one thing that you kind of like didn't understand about life?
Mm,
Because before we got on the camera,
yeah,
you shared a little something with me, and you're basically saying, like, the financials, you had to max that out, and what I mean, get into all of
yeah.
that. So I know
That's
those
a
are certain
fact.
things that we didn't understand before we got to that position. Like, I didn't understand nothing about credit cards and all this stuff until I went through a situation where I was forced to learn. So what is one thing in, like, your youth, early stages before you became a legal adult, that you didn't
Yeah.
understand?
One thing that I didn't understand is that every decision that I make today affects me tomorrow, you know?
Mm,
And being being a kid, most of the time most people have their family or friends to lean back on.
Mhm.
And now that I'm in college by myself, it's like, hey, like
It's you.
whatever, yeah, my future is gonna depend on what I do today so that
Mhm.
my tomorrow could be amazing, you know? So that's one thing that I didn't notice. But once I did realize that, it's almost like I never look back because I can't not go 100% in something because I know if I go 90% in something, I'm gonna get 90% results.
For sure.
So every day I make sure that I give my 100% to anything that I do. And I'm still learning as a young adult. I'm only 24, but it's like, everything, bro, is like it counts, So it's daily deposits and yeah, so that's all I'll say.
For sure. Um, and, just to go off based on what you said, knowing that every decision that we do make does impact us later on, I think I had to learn that very early on. So I really learned that in, like, I want to say middle school, because
Mm,
I really never had a father figure in my life. So it's like really my mom, especially in middle school. That's when I was the only child all the way up until middle school. And when my mom had my little sister, I felt like my world kind of just spiraled because it's
mm,
always been me and her. And when she had my sister, I kind of was like, okay, things are gonna change, and she has to cater to my little sister. So now I have to make that decision on who I'm gonna be next. So that's
mhm,
when that idea, and that leans onto the question I asked you earlier, if you felt like you let your family down or anything in that nature. I was always like, I'm gonna put my mom in a better position to where she don't have to worry about nothing. You know what I mean? I dedicated everything I did leading up until college, me graduating, for my family. Even though I had my own personal interests, like I was a promoter, I could have kept promoting, but I said this is not gonna take care of everybody that I love. It's not gonna take care of me because I'm always live with that. What if COVID was to happen again? Now I can't throw parties. If I was to get sick, I can't make no money. Like certain things where they came into contact with that, where I couldn't be able to provide for everybody else or myself. So all the things I like to do, like play basketball, I had to be realistic with myself early on. Like, and matter of fact, you hoop, so you know about Oak Ridge High School.
yeah.
I went to
Antonio Blakeney went there.
I went to Oak Ridge High School. So
Oh
all
yeah,
those
he got
athletes
some
pouring into
hoopers.
there, like I'm
Yeah,
5'11", like
did I don't know if it was Emmett Williams or
Emmett
Damon
went.
Harge.
They both went there at the
Yeah,
same
and
time.
then Nevin Glover, right?
All
Yeah.
went there at the same time.
Oh, so you know them boys?
Yes. so
Yeah, I
so
can
it's
see
like
why.
it's like you got to be realistic with yourself. That's what I said. I'm glad that God put me in a position where I was around that environment to see
Yeah.
like, hey, these guys, they work their ass off and they got God given talent to be here. You love the sport, but hey Trey, you might not be good enough to compete on this level.
What's the biggest difference? Because none of them are in the league right now, but I think Blakeney was the only one who made it, right?
Blankley was the only one that, because I don't think he got drafted. He got signed to the Bulls.
Yeah.
So I think the only one that made it, that got drafted, was Caddy Lane. I think his name like Caddy Lane or something like that. I think he got drafted to the Spurs. He was the only one, and that
So
was years ago before Blank.
so what do you think the biggest difference is from those guys to you?
I think the biggest difference is who wanted more enough.
Mm,
Because like I said, I had to be realistic with myself. Yeah, I played AAU. Yeah, I hung around hoopers. Yeah, I hooped. I went to tournaments. I did all this. I won trophies, whatever the case may be. But those guys weren't enough. They was in the gym night and day. I wasn't in the gym night and day. I was in there when my coaches told me to be in there. So it's
mm,
like their life was dedicated towards basketball. My life was dedicated towards making something work for my family, whether that be me working two jobs and playing basketball, because that's what I did. I was gonna choose that. Like you wasn't gonna tell me like, hey, Trey, I need you in the gym for 10 hours a day or however long is a long period to be in the gym. I need you here for a day, but you can't make no money to have for yourself. You couldn't tell me that. I wasn't choosing basketball over my family, and that's what some of those guys did because they knew basketball was gonna fund their family.
that makes
But
sense.
everybody has their own directions. Like you said, most of those guys not in the league, but that's what they dedicate their life to. I just knew early on, like, hey, the percentages of somebody making it to the league is very slim to none. And if I'm going to be in the gym with guys like Nevin Glover and Emmett Williams, I better be able to go out there and kill them every single time.
Yeah.
Me being realistic, I'm 5'11". I can't do that shit.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
if,
yeah.
even if in my heart I feel like I was the best person, like hell no, nah. I never played in no type of school organized basketball. It was always tournament ball. So like you just gotta have that realization. Like, can you do this at the highest level?
Mm.
And most people, you can ask anybody on the street, like you can go to an outside question, like, hey, you feel like you can go pro? Hell yeah, I can go pro. No, you can't.
Yeah,
You're just
bro.
not being realistic with yourself.
Or you always get a story, man. I could have
Exactly.
made it to the league, but I tore my ACL,
Like,
bro.
come on, man. Like,
It's like, ah,
is granted it hurts, but it's that pain that you need in order to flourish in your life. Like I'm doing something that I can wake up and do 7 days out of the week. I love it.
and that's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't know how to pivot and reinvent themselves because
Mhm.
they only see themselves as one thing, you know.
Or what people label them
Yeah,
as.
or what people label them as. So they're like,
Mhm.
I guess I'm gonna be this for the rest of my life, you know,
Yep.
or I'm gonna be a what could have been, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, back in my day when I was in high school, man, I led the county in rushing or led the county in assists or points or
Mhm.
whatever. But it's like to me, like, well, what are you doing now?
Nobody remembers that. Also,
Exactly.
it's all ancient.
It's
It's like
always
it's
them.
it's the first page of the book.
Yeah,
So, and nobody looks at the first page of no
them.
book. They
That's real.
always they go straight to the first chapter. They don't look at the introduction. They don't look at none of that shit because it don't matter to people. If that mattered, you would know the author. You would know who helped them write the book. You would know where it was published at. Nobody cares about that, bro. They want to get straight to the juicy part. They want to know who won, who has the highest career point. Like, hey, that's what they care about. They don't care about
Yeah,
all that little shit.
the results,
So
bro.
exactly. So yeah, that's just the thing. Like I'm thankful because I'm around guys that actually now I'm around guys that actually made it pro and made it to the big stages and where they continue to do it. So it's like the love I have for the game, I can pour it to them and ask them certain questions. I go like, hey bro, like when you played today or how was your game? Like you did this, you did that, you killed. Let me see, like, you know what I mean? That love can pour into other people that are actually pros at it.
Yeah, they fully immersed in it.
Exactly.
Eat,
So
sleep, and breathe it.
and that just wasn't me. I'm glad I realized that at an early age because I know some guys to this day be like, man, I still can go. You
Yeah.
got to move
Or they're
on,
like
fam.
28 years old, still
Mhm.
trying out overseas and stuff,
Yeah.
and got a job at McDonald's, man.
That's how you got to move on. And I was
No, yeah, no
thankful.
disrespect to McDonald's, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I worked for McDonald's.
Yeah,
I had, bro, I'll tell you this. I had 15 jobs in my life. That's how dedicated I was to getting to that next point of my life. Cause I
shoot.
knew, not saying money is the end all be all, but I know I needed some type of currency in my life in order to get the things that I wanted and
Yeah,
needed.
shoot.
So,
One of when I got home from college during COVID, before I started cutting hair, I was working at Walmart, bro.
mhm,
And Walmart is kind of looked at as like the bottom of the barrel with supermarkets.
mhm,
But because I had a job at Walmart, that allowed me to get a job at Target. And that was a stepping stone. And then because I
mhm.
got a job at Target, I was getting paid more. So then I could buy my tools and everything like that. And then I could, better delegate my time into what I really wanted to do. So it's steps to everything in life.
It's levels. That's the biggest
Levels.
saying that my homeboy says. It's levels to life.
It's
And
levels.
you can't just wake up and start on 15. You really got to go through some shit. And sometimes you don't have to through some shit. Sometimes you can get blessed.
Yeah,
But
levels.
that is just it's levels to this shit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I want to jump into a smooth segment about you becoming a dad. So I know that you may be I don't even want to say nervous, but you may be expecting things to happen. But I really want to just ask you because as somebody that dreams of being a dad, like what are some emotions that you're having right now,
Mm.
especially knowing that you're gonna have a son. Like what are some emotions that you're having right now?
Some emotions that always run through the back of my head is like, I want to be better than the men who came before me. And I genuinely appreciate each and every one of them, but I want to learn or I want to do everything that I've learned that they did well and everything that they didn't well
Mhm.
and incorporate it into my life, because I was very blessed. I had three father figures. I had my biological dad, my stepdad, and my poppy, and they all poured into me in different ways in my life. But when I become a dad and he actually gets here, I'm trying to do everything that they did right and the things that they didn't do the best that they could have improved on and incorporate that into my life. So it's almost like a just trying to prepare myself and to always keep those things in the back of my head.
But I do want to ask this, knowing that you want to be able to not only do what they did, but do it in a sense better. How is that? Do you have a sense of a boundary right now? Especially like,
Mm.
that your son isn't here yet. Have you created that boundary to know like, okay, I may can't do this in the full potential, but
Mm.
I will do it at the best level that I can.
Give me more of an
So
example.
so like an example would be like this, right? Knowing that, especially like when kids are born, like when they have that toddler phase or when they're early on in the ages, most of the time, especially as men, like we're taught to be tough, right? Knowing that we're now in a different environment or society is now different, most of the time you want to pour into kids and tell them to be a little bit more vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
So knowing that that's to be upcoming. Now, if I was to become that, I'd be like, okay, now I'm more vulnerable in my podcast, but I also was raised to be tough. Which side am I going to teach my son?
Mm,
Because now on here, I'm vulnerable, but I was raised to be tough and it made me the man I am now. But I learned to be vulnerable later on. Am I going to teach my son, like, hey, it's okay to cry? Or am I going to teach my son, hey, you need to be tough?
mm. That's a great question, bro. So some of the boundaries that I am going to create is creating a voice or a person for my son to talk to. Because sometimes with the father figures that I had, I felt like I wasn't able to tell them everything or tell them how I was feeling about
Exactly.
certain things because
Mhm.
I'll be looked at as soft or boy, you need to stop crying, man. That shit
Mhm.
ain't nothing serious, or stuff like that. I'm not gonna be like I'm gonna try to not be like that towards my son, but I'm also gonna teach him lessons that hey, certain things in life, you're a man at the end of the day, you're a leader. Leaders have to rise to the occasion, and I want to create a young man that's a leader. But I will teach him to be vulnerable and to learn how to express his feelings because that's a lot of the reasons why we have, these YNs, bro. They just shooting shit up just because
Mhm.
they don't know how to express their feelings
Exactly.
or work things out in a correct manner. So I'm gonna teach my son, hey, process your emotions. If you need to talk to somebody, like I'll always be there for him to listen, and create that safe space for him. But at the same time, know that you're a man at the end of the day, and sometimes, you know, you have to do what you gotta do. So I'm gonna try to do it as best as I can, but I'm not
Mhm.
gonna be super tough on them where it's like, hey, like don't talk to me about nothing. Like go talk to your mom about that.
Mhm.
As a man, he has to understand that since I'm a leader, that leaders have different roles and capabilities. So
Exactly.
leaders should be able to be well rounded in everything else.
Mhm. And the reason why I asked you that is because this gonna be here forever. Like the episode is gonna be here forever. I'm pretty sure in the future your
Oh
son
yeah,
will
I'm
be
gonna
able to
show him. I'm gonna show him
exactly
for sure. For
exactly.
sure.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it'll all be a full circle
I'm gonna be
moment. You
like,
know
hey,
what I
look
mean?
what your daddy did, man. Yeah.
For sure. And like I said earlier too, congratulations, man. Like
Thank you, bro.
I think that that transition of you becoming a dad, and in a sense, you're already a dad, but knowing that your son will be here physically,
Yeah.
like that's gonna change. I don't even say change your mindset completely, but it's gonna enhance it. It's gonna advance it in a
Oh
way to
yeah.
where you just think about things differently. Like I have a
Yeah.
goddaughter, and I have siblings and stuff like that too. But with my goddaughter, it makes me think of things a little bit differently. Like when I do have my own child, certain things I can't do, certain things I can't be fast with. Sometimes you have to be patient with certain things. Sometimes you have to pour more love into certain things. Just me seeing that my best friend raising her daughter on her own. So it's like it just makes me kind of wake up to reality a little bit more. That's why I wanted to ask that question.
Yeah.
But I will say this though, what is one thing, what everything that you experience in life, put it all into like just one thought right now, what is one piece of advice you feel like you could give yourself back then to make everything now more clear? So like
Mm.
basically what I'm asking is if you could speak to your younger self or whatever chapter in your life was probably the most toughest, and you can go back and tell them something to make this right now in this moment make sense. Like, hey, for example, I can go back and tell Trey, keep talking, keep being yourself because you being yourself is going to open up way more doors than you think you have right now.
Yeah. So what I would tell my younger self is love the people who love you. And what I mean by that is don't be wasting your time with people who don't value your time. I didn't understand who I was as a person until I was probably like 17 because I'm such a good person that I'm always trying to look out for other people. Sometimes those other people might not love me back or respect me in the same way. So it's like, hey, like you got to learn, when you're in a bad situation or when people really don't fuck with you like that, stop trying to pour into them. Use that and pour that back into yourself, or pour into other people who actually love you or care about you.
Facts.
So love the people who love you. Like cut all the distractions out your life that aren't good for you. Um, give that good energy to some people, to someone who deserves it, or to someone who wants to hear or they genuinely care about you or want to listen to you. So That's what I would say, bro. Like, don't be afraid to move situations and to pivot if you're not in a comfortable situation.
For sure.
Place yourself in an environment where you're loved, where you're heard, and where other people respect the same thing from you.
For sure, and I think that's the curse of givers.
Yeah, bro.
Knowing that you don't have a boundary, or you don't have a limited access to your love and to the things that you give, and that's the same
Hmm.
way with me too. Like, I started off being able to give to people just naturally, and knowing that I didn't have to get anything in return. I just knew it was the greater good. Like, it's just something I have to do. Like,
Yeah,
just giving because it's right, not giving because I'm gonna get something back from people.
yeah,
But it burned me a lot. Like, a lot of people backstabbed me. A lot of people used me. A lot of people only were around to have access to certain things that I had access to. And then when you come to that rude awakening, it's like, damn, why me though? Like,
yeah,
why me when you can go do that to somebody else that you really don't love, or somebody else that you really don't even know or care about,
yeah.
but you come to me, somebody that, well, at least I
That you
thought I
know.
loved, yeah,
Yeah,
that and that is pure. You'd rather use that person and hurt them at the end.
yeah. So I heard this quote from an OG back in the day, man, and he told me he was like, "Man, the only way somebody can stab you in the back is if they're close to you. Nobody can reach a knife that far, like with how far I am to the camera. But if they get, what I'm saying, like up here with it, bro, they might be able to stab you. So it's
Mhm.
like when you loving people who love you, most of the time it's gonna be genuine, and you know that they're not gonna, have no ill will intent, unless you might not see it from far, but the biggest thing is, bro, like just try to surround yourself with those people who love you, bro.
For
So
sure, for
I
sure.
definitely feel you with being backstabbed and all that stuff because
Mhm.
I'll never change the person that I am. I'll just change the people or the things that I get my energy to.
Exactly.
So
Just pour into what pours into you. Simple as
yeah.
that. You know what I mean? But we are getting towards the end of the episode. We're gonna go ahead and take the tray off, and
Uh,
then you go ahead and pick a question to read, and then we'll dive into it.
good old tray of truths. Let's see. I was wondering what this bowl was for, bro. I thought it was like some food or something.
Nah, it's crazy because I actually had a, what's the name, like a, I guess you could call it a tray too, but I had a tray.
Like a platter?
Yeah, like a platter, but it don't fit all the cards how I want to, like, visually. So I'm working on getting that and adding that on there. That way it can look exactly like the logo. But
Mm,
it's gonna take time. I ain't really tripping.
that's
I
cool,
have it
bro.
by August.
Yes, sir.
Go
You
ahead.
ready?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
What's a small win you've been overlooking lately? Hmm. Small win.
And it's crazy because when you think about a small win, you gotta honestly really think what's small to you, because
Yeah.
some things is just like, okay, this is just normal, but it's actually something that really is important.
I'll tell you. What's a small one you've been overlooking lately? So, but off the camera, y'all don't know, but Trey and I had a conversation. We were talking about how I was transitioning from Tallahassee to Tampa, after I graduated and everything. And I went through a situation with my ex girlfriend, and we basically broke up, and all the bills were on me. And we were splitting everything, so I didn't really have that much money saved up or whatever. I was kind of just coasting, and I was
Mhm,
like, all right, like, this is gonna be peaches and cream or whatever. Everything was good. But when we ended up breaking up, I ended up taking an apartment by myself,
mhm,
and all the bills and everything were on me. So because of that, I lost all my money. I maxed out all my credit cards, and I was into debt. And by the grace of God, I worked my ass off for this every single day. Um, I kept my head pushing and everything, and now I'm debt free with everything in life, and I have a good chunk of money saved up, ready for when my son gets here. So that's a small win that I've been overlooking because it's almost like I've always had good money, more than the average person my age because of what I do and how hard I work. But when I was placed in that situation, I had never been in a situation where I was broke essentially.
mhm,
But I worked myself up out of that, and I won it because shoot, like I overcame that debt. And my grandfather, he told me, he said, as long as you're in the game, you winning. And that's just a thought that's always lingering in the back of my head. So as long as, there's still time left in life,
Mhm,
there's still many things to accomplish and to overcome. So that's one thing I've been overlooking. I was in debt, but now I'm debt free, and I'm thankful for that. So
mhm. That's good, man. Not having to, look over your shoulder, having to, like pocket pinch and put things in the other places where you don't want to put them at. You know what I mean? And it's the financial freedom is just a blessing as a whole. You know what I mean? Being able to invest in what you want to do, be able to spend where you want to spend, and just being able to, in a sense, breathe fresh air at every moment of your life. And the counter also to add on what you had said about basically life isn't over until it's over. I tell people you breathing is the biggest blessing that you have.
for sure, bro. That's the first thing I do when I wake up every day. I
Hmm.
say thank you, Father, for allowing me to wake up and start this day. Because some
Hmm.
people they don't get this
They
opportunity.
don't. They
So
don't. Thousands of people die every day.
yeah,
May not be in the city that you're in. It may not be where you're located, but thousands of people die every day. Billions of people die every month. Shit, it just goes on.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
they
And
out of
it's
here.
the reality is of life is crazy. So you got to be thankful for everything. Thankful to just to get out of bed, to be able to walk to your door, to be able to brush your teeth. Like we mentioned before, even with Chris Johnson, just saying, hearing him say that literally a year ago he was able to pick up his daughter for her birthday, and now
Yeah,
saying that he don't even have the strength or the capability to do it now,
to grip or pick up
like
a cup.
like especially as a man, like that hurts.
Bro,
That's pain.
not even as a man, as a 1 percentile athlete, of a man, because we all
Mhm,
know how we view athletes. They're the cream of the crop, bro, when it comes to being in, top tier physical shape
mhm,
and everything. And from you to go to that 1% to still have the confidence in yourself to be like, hey, I'm still fighting, bro. Like as long as you woke up today, bro, or as long as you're in the game, like you still winning. Like that
mhm,
shit's real.
mhm. Facts, facts. I definitely appreciate you pulling up, bro.
Yeah. Thank you for
Great,
having me,
great
bro.
interview. Great things gonna be coming soon, and hopefully in the future, we can get a part two in, and especially when your son is born, you can come back and tell me about how that
Hey,
process
for
was
sure.
and how that blessing is going
Yeah.
and everything like that. So I appreciate you again. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you at on all social medias one more
Yeah.
time. I'm gonna drop it down in the description.
Yeah. So, like I said, y'all, my name is Christian Lawrence. My main page is underscore CHR11S. My haircuts page is Christian Lawrence Cuts, and my art page is Christian Lawrence AW. Thank you for having me, Trey. Just want to give a special shout out to my family, my friends, my girlfriend Ari, and our soon to be son. So, thank you for having me, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. And before we do end it off, what art do you do?
It's not
I should ask you that during. I was thinking about. I was like, damn, I ain't see no art. So what art do you do?
so to me, bro. I do art every day.
Yeah.
I look at somebody's head as a sculpture.
Mhm.
Because everybody's head is shaped differently. The texture of their hair is different. Um, how they may want to be seen. Let's say like the jawline could be different from somebody else's.
Mhm.
So what I do every day is I bring art to a haircut, and I don't just look at it as a haircut. It's like how am I gonna shape this hairline to where his head stands out, and when somebody's standing like 20 feet away from him, they could see the blends or how smooth, you know, let's say like it was how smooth that painting was, but to me, how smooth my blends were.
For sure.
And I'm constantly surrounding myself with art every day. Even my shoes. I mean, take these bad boys off for y'all, but a lot of people don't know about these, but these are golden gooses, but these even have art on it. So to me, it's very important to surround myself with art. That way, I can keep my brain creative and to stay, in a constant flowing space. I just saw art this past weekend with Kanye West, one of the most creative people ever,
Mhm.
to touch this planet. So that's how I would say my art is with cutting hair, surrounding myself with it, um, capturing different scenic shots,
Yep.
and everything. So that's how I would describe my
For
art.
sure, for sure. I mean, that is true. I,
Yeah,
I I see it in that way as well too. Like I'm a big music person, so
exactly.
music is to me one of the biggest arts of just
Yeah,
all
you
time because
yeah,
it's people pouring emotions into lanes and words
and making it sound
and just
well
making
while
it
telling a
sound well
story.
and more comfortable for you to relate to and enjoy. So Yeah, I can go on and on about that, but when you said art, I was thinking like, oh damn, he in the art world too. That's what's
For
up. Because I
sure.
went to the for my birthday last year. This is the only thing I did. I went to the Tampa Art Museum and I just stood there for hours
Yeah, bro. I bet
because
you're
it's.
admiring everything.
I just had to because I think everything has a deeper meaning than what it looks like. It's like some people see a picture, be like, oh, that's what's up, but like, it's way more meaning behind what you're looking at. So I just took the time out. I did that. I had a little dinner and then I called it a birthday. You know what I mean? And that
Yeah.
was one of my most calm and peaceful birthdays that I had in a while. So
And I feel like in America, bro, they're trying to take that artistry and creativity away from us, you know.
mhm,
If you even look outside, there's things that are just gray and black. While back in the day in Europe and Africa, you know, you could look at the ceiling and people hand painted or hand carved sculptures into the ceiling, you know. So it's I feel like it's super important for us to surround ourselves with art every day, especially with the way that the world is going with the technology because you know, robots and AI are trying to take care or take over everything. So it's up to us as humans to do what we were born to do and create, you know, every day.
y'all heard it. Hey, remain creative in everything you do, everything you like, everything you hate. Just make it the most creative way you can.
Yeah,
I'm doing it right now. He's doing it right now.
yeah.
That's just life.
We just cast a spell on y'all, man, with our words for real. So you know,
Facts.
yeah. We just made a movie. Yeah, that was our art today, man. Appreciate you having me, bro.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir. And y'all know how I am with the outro. Go. Yes, sir.